láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sányán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Adeyemo Adegbemiga Ganio. I welcome you all to my Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. And today's topic will be a touch on one of the videos I made last year, but in more further breakdown details, because as life keep evolving, people have to keep reading more and more to complement your fact. And one of the reasons why I also decided to retouch on this video is simply because my last video, which I uploaded about 3 to 4 days ago, though I thank everyone who are encouraging me, the extreme majority did encourage me, especially those who have left the shore of Africa, or the minorities who are in Africa who are privileged to informations, because there are still some people in this Africa who are just stagnant in their knowledge. They actually believe in fairy tales and hearsays. So these are the kind of people who have been backlashing me lately, asking me for scientific evidence, asking me for, because they can't think beyond what they've knew. So they are actually not looking for truth. They are looking for who to pick quarrels with. People's project people to belittle people's effort rather than making their own further findings for what they've had. So this is why I'm retouching on this video, and I want to put some relatable scientific or archaeological evidences where people can also further go and make their own research, so they can let the sleeping dog lie once and for all. For some most part, throughout my video, I've never shied away from it. I keep saying that the Yorubas were the first people on earth. They are the first people. This is not a brag. It has been scientifically proved, it has been religiously proved, it has been indigenously proved or spiritually proved. Whichever way you want to approach it, it has been proven and certified that the Yorubas are the most ancient people on earth, whether you agree to it or not. So this is my own opinion, and this is my fact, and it's a relatable fact which you can as well go out of here to go and make your research. So you don't need to insult me or accuse anybody. It's either you agree or you don't agree. This is the age of learning. It's easier for anybody to pick up a random Google and start making some researches. So don't blame me for what I believe in and what I'm actually saying. I will retouch on the idea of Adam, the Adam and Eve saga in Yoruba land, how it all went down at Ile-Ife. So I will give you the scientific and archaeological references to portray it, to complement it, and at the end of it, I will touch on one particular question or a suggestion which a fellow commenter gave me as an advice, and why I can't really ignore it. So let's dive into it. I will be brief with it. What does Adam mean? I've already said it in my earlier video. Adam means Eniti Adalati Noamo, he that we created from the dark muddy clay. It is also a certified claim, rather both in the Quran and the Bible. You can as well see it. He was created from a clay, and he was created by two different people, not just one person, just not one person. It's easier for the Almighty to have said, "I created Adam," but both in the Quran, the concept of "we," let us, is to show that it were two joint effort that created Adam. So the idea of God created humanity, that's a foul word. It's not that God can't create it, but that's just the reality. God wasn't the one who created humanity. It was the first Adam, which the Yoruba commonly knows as Obatala, that created the entire humanity, and it was on God's command that he did it, because he was creating and God was breathing souls into them after he created them. So that is where the concept of Adam and Eve came from. Let me just touch on again about who Adam is in breakdown. All humanity are Adam. The way I used to say it, we are all Adam. If you are familiar among the Yoruba people, we all commonly address ourselves as Aomo Adare, Aomo Adamo. Is not referring to an ancestor. It's actually referring you humanity, you people of humanity, you people of stubborn people. As in, it's not a name of just one person. The idea of Adam, we we all have affiliation with the earth's clay. So when we are talking about people who are created from the earth, they are practically talking about humanity and animals that are created, that are erupted from the earth's soil, just as we. So Adam is not a name of one person. Another name for Adam is humanity, like I keep saying. So you really have to understand that. The where the Obatala came is has to do with his affiliation with both sides, the heaven and earth. Obatala is not a random human being, and likewise is not an angel. I swear, you can call him in Yoruba. Angel is irunmole, ọ̀run ìmọ́lẹ̀, ọ̀run tó wá ìmọ́lẹ̀ tó wá láti ọ̀run, the light or divine being who descended down all the way from heaven. Though the Yorubas may also have some related name, we give another meanings to it, but that is my own ideology behind it, because it fits the narration of who their legacy in life. They came all the way from heaven down to earth, and they did one thing or the other before they vanished. They don't die because they are actually spiritual beings. They are not like a random human being. So Adam was into that category as well. He was the first man in the Bible. The Bible described, specifically depict him as the spirit of the Almighty. Like I said, the Almighty is, we are calling the same God from different angle. His real name is Ella. The real Almighty name is Ella, whether you agree to it or not. So that Ella was what people shortened to either Elohim or Allah in Allah, because in Arabic language, E is A. I will touch on that at the end of this video, you understand. Likewise in the Yoruba people, Ella, Odu, Tomare. So we have random, I make references in my earlier video. You can go back and watch those videos as well to realize it. So Ella is the actual name. So in the Torah, the Torah actually dub Obatala as the spirit of Ella. That's the spirit of Elohim which defended. And for you to actually know that it's Obatala they are referring to, he sent the spirit of the God, came down all the way from heaven and was floating, hovering on top the water, because the earth was filled with water, shallow like a graveyard. We know that Obatala floated on earth when he was coming with chain from heaven, with snail filled with sand and all those things before. So it was Obatala they are referring to. And when Obatala landed, he landed at Ile Ife. It was at that Ile Ife he created a mini garden where he temporarily stayed. After staying there for a while, he planted all the seed he brought in the bag and brought out the magical hen. This hen now uses a claw to spread those sand to different corners of the earth. The places where the sand reaches are the place where are livable by human beings across the world of today. So all those stories are coming from Obatala. So why do I say Obatala is the first Adam? If you check out, there is another statement which the Almighty made mention in the Quran. He said, "This is a man," is referring to the first Adam, "which I created with my own hand." Let me tell you in breakdown what that word actually indicated. God created Obatala with his own hand, the same hand which God uses to create the angels, which is Irumole. So this practically means that Obatala came from the most divine creation, not like we human beings that were created later on earth after Obatala came. So if you categorize Obatala as Irumole or which is an angel, you are basically right, because it was God that actually created him with his own very hand in heaven before Obatala descended to earth as a spirit of Elohim. So if you categorize, if you dub him as part of the angel, you are right. At the same time, Obatala came to earth. He had direct affiliation with the earth being of clay, like marrying them, had a wife. So he has another touch of him that also made him a human being of this earth. And meanwhile, the first wife which Obatala had was also an angel. So Obatala being an half angel, Irumole Orisha, and marrying a complete Irumole, because in heaven all the angels or the messengers of the Almighty are 401. 200 at the right hand side, 201 at the other hand side. 1 or 200 of them, they are common angels like the human being they came to earth like Ogun, Shogo. Why the other 201? They are the one who affect every every spiritualism or destiny that occurs among the human life, like disaster, ofo, like ori buruku, they will bring it to you. Is the work of these angels. If you want to destroy someone, maybe someone is reciting Tabatiada, or you are incantation in Yoruba land. These are the spirit that will go and do the dirty work for you. So everything that the Yoruba says is power in their tongue. You are actually commanding an angel you don't see to go and cause that havoc. So God has partitioned them and gave them specific duty on heaven. So don't let me divert to it. We are talking about Obatala. So when Obatala actually came down to it, you can categorize him as an angel. You can also, and this is where the idea of his first wife came from. His first wife is a pure angel, which is Yemeja. Every Yoruba son and daughters today should know that you are children of Yemeja, whether you like it or not. This Yemeja is a pure angel of the Almighty. He is commonly dubbed. I detailed it down. His depicted name in Abrahamic is the angel Michael. Angel Michael. Yemeja is the person the Abrahamic people refer to as angel Michael. Omi Ike Ile she or thee that descend down the water, or the custodian of earth water, which is why Yemeja is commonly dubbed Oluweri Magbojo, the divine being who is in charge of earth, water, and rain. She's the one. So Omi Ike Ile was what they abbreviated as Mikael. So that is another story for that. She was the first. So to the entire rest of the humans, Angel Michael, which is Yemeja, is an official messenger of the Almighty. But to the Yorubas, is an official angel of the Almighty, and she is also our mother. So we have more privilege than any other race in the entire world. Just know that. This is why whenever Yorubas want to honor their mother, like Yemeja goes to the river, they don't call Yemeja as the way other people. They call her my mother, Iyami, my mother, please help me, I'm crying. So what should we do? Because the way God projected this life, God gave all these angels absolute autonomy to do whatever and do, and they can never go wrong in the sight of the Almighty who gave them, because God does not make mistake. If you check out one of the verses in the Quran, God said, if you have problem with Mikael, this is Yemeja, if you have problem with Mikael, no doubt you will have problem with me. God is not saying if you have problem with me, you will have problem. God is practically saying whatever these people do, this Orirumole Orisha, they do it for free. You have to make your amends with them. So the Yorubas have all privileges to communicate with their ancestor, while you other random people. That is just the story for. I'm diverting too much. So Yemeja, in a nutshell, was the mother of the Yoruba and was the first wife of the first Adam, which is Obatala. So through Yemeja and Obatala, the first set of human beings emerged. That is where I'm going to. The first set of human beings emerged. This was why the Yoruba have ancestral genetic relationship with the heaven beings, with the spirit of God. With the angels of heaven, the Yorubas are their direction, and that is where also the concept of children of heaven, children of God came from. God can never concede, but God has children. God has angels which were dubbed as children of God in Genesis 2. They came down to earth to marry daughters of men. That is where. So Yorubas are direct blood, flesh and blood of these angels of God. We the European commonly dubbed as demons. Whatever case, that is their problem. So we have the why God. This is let me break it down. God happens to be their father, the fathers of the angels, based on what the Torah said. The children of God came down to earth, and the Yoruba, be the direct children of the angel, became the grandchildren of the Almighty. This is why God continue to say it in the Torah. Oya Sheriola, you are my first son. You are my first son. So God is linking Yorubas to him directly, because he know that the Yoruba have the genetic ancestry of his angels who came down to earth. So through Yemeja and Obatala, the first Adam, the Yoruba race started This is why the Yoruba are extremely intelligent. They got all their wisdom, their way of life, everything from this angel. So they learned from the best, and they are closer to the Almighty, and they are also the custodian of earth, whether you agree to it or not. So the creation which Obatala now created, now crafted with his own hand, now uses mud to mold, which the Almighty was blowing life into. This creation now became the rest of the mankind. So Obatala has his own progeny who came directly from him, his flesh and blood, and also have another progeny which he made with his own hand, using different kind of art to build it and go for it. This is where the concept of Cain and Abel emerged from. Cain in Yoruba land, or in direct Yoruba name, is called Ako Eniyan. Ako Eniyan. While Abel is Abo Eniyan. What does Ako Eniyan mean? Only the Yoruba might have a clear understanding of what I'm about to say. There are two types of stone in Yoruba. We always call him Ako Okuta ati Abo Okuta. Even in animals too, we have Ako Okuta, Abo Okuta, and it only signifies male creation and female creation. Male creation in the sense of not in terms of genital, gender is always in terms of character, like two male, but one has a very calm or reserved attitude, and the other one has an aggressive kind of attitude. So it's not about being a female or male. So they were all two categories of creation through Adam, the first Adam. The first category are the ones which he had through a direct angels, which are the Yoruba. The second categories are the ones which he created with his hand while he was molding it. God was breathing, so which were the Cain set of people. So the Cain people were naturally aggressive, and while the Abel people were actually calmed. So from my own opinion, I guess the Cain people use their aggressiveness to hurt the Abel people group, and they eventually left Ile-Ife. God sent them completely out of Ile-Ife. Then they migrated thousands of years earlier to resettle at different side of the world till today. So let me now break down what those words mean, so you will understand how the Europeans could not be able to interpret the Torah, because it actually belongs to the Yorubas, and there is no way anybody in the entire world can understand the Yoruba message like the Yoruba people themselves. Like Jesus said, or the Yeshua, Eshu, Olailu Yeshua, like he said in one of the Torah statements, he said, "You these my people, don't you know God have given you wisdom from heaven? You didn't. It's not as if you came to earth to come and have your wisdom. You've had it from heaven. The wisdom of the angels is what you have, unless you are not using it. What you know, nobody in the world can know it. It's just part of you." And like today, the Yorubas are so intelligent and so versatile to understand that we don't even understand ourselves anymore, because all of us, when you have too much masters, too much masters in a room, no one will want to submit to the other one. Everyone will always want to claim one right or the other, and that has been what is killing the Yoruba people. Ogbon ti poju. So many brilliant people are just too much, so they don't want to agree to themselves. This is what is killing the Yoruba. If you check out Awolowo and Akintola, so they always fight themselves to power, because they are both unique in their same ways. So that is for that. Let me now break down how the European got it all wrong in today's Bible, so you will begin to understand what I'm trying to say. What does Eve mean? The wife of Adam, or the wife of the Adam, which was formerly which was initially Yemeja, that the European dub as Lilith, and the other one later married. They call it Lilith the demon, because they said she was from the river. She has a demonic female girls. We know Yemeda has children that do come out of the water, all these things. So they are trying to depict Yemeda as a demon, just like the way they depicted Yeshua as an evil person, whereas they are the Satans. So likewise this. So where does the concept of Eve came from? Eve in Torah especially from the book of Dead, was described as Eve or Ereve, which is Ife. Ile-Ife. When we are talking about Ni-Ife, Ni-Ile-Ife, that is where the idea of Eve come from. But in Yoruba land, Ife is a land, but it can also be used as a lover. Ololufe, Ifere. That is where the concept of Eve. So whenever you see the idea, the word of Adam and Eve, God is practically saying the clay beings with their lover. Like I said in my earlier videos, all Abrahamic names are not their real name. They are just attributed names which the Europeans randomly gave them based on the events that did happen at respective lifetime of those orishas. So not their indigenous name, which has become why it becomes so hard for an average Yoruba man to identify his orisha in the Abrahamic Torah. As a matter of fact, most orisha which you all know in Yoruba land, which is still traditionally do the rituals today, are the same Abrahamic prophets which the world now honor. But they has been whiteified, they has been depicted, but their legacy are what. This is why I'm not in support of any religion side, because I understand that both of you people, but both three sides, Muslim, Christian, you are fighting the wrong battle. You are fighting over one person because you people are ignorant of who that person is. So the Ife or Ive was actually derived from Ife, which was what we have Adam and Eve. From the Arabic perspective, Hawau was also derived from Ewa Tiowu. Arewa Tiowu is another name to qualify Ife, which is lover. So Adam and his lover, that is where those concepts of Eve and Hawau came from. So let's jump to another one. The common thing that also confuse people in regards to which no scientist in the entire world have been able to find solution to or to give exact details of is the eating of the forbidden fruit. I stated it in my last video. I said forbidden fruit, or the way they detailed it in the Bible, is not exactly the way it is. This is why I'm 100% certainly sure that there is nothing like forbidden fruit. The Yorubas knows all the name of all the leaf in the entire world, and they learned those knowledge from the best, which was Osoyin. Osoyin is another angel of God, which is Orisha Irunmole. He came all the way from heaven. He taught the Yorubas all the leaf that can ever exist. So he learned it directly from the Almighty God. So for the Yoruba not to have the idea of what forbidden fruit is, it doesn't exist. And I even have bigger explanation to it. Why we have to note in your mind that these names are just depicted names, and the way the Yorubas relate with sentences, only them can understand it. If you are not a Yoruba person, I believe you can never understand. There is no magic anywhere. This is why Yorubas don't even have basic dictionary in the world. How can you have basic dictionary? The Ife, Ondo, Oyo, all this, they have different Yorubas, let alone the Yorubas on their homie. So the concept of eating of food, forbidden food, was actually taken from one J-E-War. One J-E-War means they ate the forbidden in literal writing. But in reality, among the Yorubas, it basically means they committed they did what they are not supposed to do. They transgress. But in writing, it actually means they eat the forbidden fruit. So this is just a diversion. So those who are not the Yoruba knows that one J-E-War, one Bugije, these are phrasal words. They are idiomatic expression. It has nothing to consumption. So the Yoruba got it, the European got it all wrong based on ignorance. They got it wrong there. So stop looking for any forbidden fruit or something like that. It's just an idiomatic relation which the Yoruba uses. The great grandfather of the Yoruba uses to qualify how the first set of human beings transgressed and they were being sent out, packing out of Ile-Ife in antiquity. So the other one we're going to do, they said after those people now ate the forbidden fruit, they found that they were actually naked. That is another crazy explanation. In Yoruba as well is this is another idiomatic expression which also derived from one bora wọn sí òhò, one túra wọn láṣìírí. It basically means they degraded themselves. They belittle themselves. They fold their hands, as in they ridicule themselves. So it actually not mean they off themselves and they now start walking naked. This is why he said you have to be a Yoruba person to understand. This is the message of the ancient Yoruba people, which can only be understood by thousands of years Yoruba people to come, because it's directly from their father. If you're outside Yoruba land, you will only interpret what you directly see, and what you directly put pen down on the paper might not necessarily mean the actual reality of explanation. This is why we're having so much conflicting reports from the Torah. So that is for that. So they found themselves naked only means they ridicule themselves. Wọ́n túra wọn láṣìírí síta. Nǹkan tí ò yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe wọ́n lọ ṣe. Yorubas will understand that perfectly. So I don't know about any other people outside Yoruba land. And let's now jump into the idea of Adam bowing down to Lucifer, God banish him, all these things. From my own personal opinion, those events never took place. I will give you a very good reason. Those events are actually fabricated stories, both in the Quran and in the Torah. The only related events we can attribute to that narrative, because the word Lucifer was derived from Lucy. The other fowl is an additional word. The word Lucy was what gave the birth to the idea of Lucifer. And Lucifer in the Torah was mentioned, I think, once, and it was a nickname that was attributed to the king of ancient Babylonian, Nezabanuga, or something like I can't pronounce it very clearly. So Nezabanuga II, the king of Babylonia, who was trying to build a tower straight down to heaven. He was trying to be like the heaven god. So the Yoruba practically call him Oloshi Eda Eniyan. Oloshi, a foolish human being. So he was the one they were trying to give those derogatory name for. So the idea of bowing down, kneeling down, angels lie down, Lucifer said no, there is no record for it. The story is actually common, just like the story of air fire is also common, but there are no record for them. In the entire Torah, the word air fire was Sheol, and there's nowhere Sheol actually means lake of fire, house of fire, burning of fire. People just make up those English translations, but they go and check the Torah. You will understand. So many of the story you've been hearing in the Torah, in the Quran, actually have no record anywhere. So that's the case of the Lucifer. And so there is no record of Lucifer buying them, Adam buying them. Those things are kind of nonsense, because what you can't verify is of no use. So this is where all this idea of Adam and Eve. So practically, this first set of human beings, there were two groups of human beings at the beginning of time. One set were direct from the lineage of Adam, his progeny, while the other set were actually creations of Adam. So the first Adam, which is Obatala. So one group is actually tormenting the other. That is my own opinion now. So one group, because the word Cain and Abel can never be an individual person. Why it can never be is this. It is commonly said Cain and Abel were male, two males, including their father. They become three males with their mother, and they were the first set of four human beings in the entire world. But the question people supposed to ask is that, where did Cain and Abel got their wives from? Where did their wife come from? And to even make it more ridiculous, they said Cain killed Abel, and Cain now went far away from his family to go and start another new life. Who are the people you went to meet at the place he went to? Where did they come from? After all, we said they were the four set of human beings on earth. So there are so many jumbo mumbo narrations in the Torah. I'm not saying the Torah is extremely bad, but there are endless errors in it, and you can only retrace those things from the Yoruba, where the story was stolen from to begin with. So that is where the concept of Cain and Abel and Adam or everything now came from. So what does this mean from the scientific perspective? Because people will say, you are just saying it, where are your proof? I think around 2021 or 20, a computational biologist, which was named as Sriram Sankaraman or something like that, who led the research of the University of California, came to West Africa. They've been studying this study to show how the genetics. Meanwhile, parallel to that, there have been many there have been many scientific studies of genome that have been carried out across Africa for hundreds of years, like the one they took at the Ethiopia Omokibish or something like that. 100, and they said the Homo sapiens, it was around 15,900 years. They took another one from Tanzania, 400,000 years as old as the bone. Another one from Jebel Omolat, the Morocco area, 300,000. And they did all kind of research. The last one they did in Yoruba land was that one of Ilero. People know Ilero, I think around Osun State, which was one they did. But despite all the modern day science, technology and they realized that the Yoruba people were very unique. So Sri Ram, the computation biologist from the California University, with all the group, they came to West Africa. That was when they began to study of the modern West Africa, and they realized that the West African, they possess a DNA gene which is very unique on Earth as human, and which modern technology have idea of where they come from. According to the research, they were called the archaic human, or sometimes the proto-DNA type people. They said they lived in West Africa about 1 million years ago, and they further claimed that they were actually ghost population of an unknown ancestor realm who came from an unknown realm out of this world. Some people dub it as a space. Then they later bred with the West African people about 50,000 years later. Until today, the pure blood people of 2 to 20% of the modern day West African, and they were very specific. They dubbed them as the Yorubas in Nigeria of today's Southwest, the Aku Yorubas in Sierra Leone, and some of the minority of the Gambia and the Benin Republic. They said they still possesses the pure blood gene of those ghost ancestors. And what actually means is that prior, before they discovered, there were many splits, because African has the most genetic diversity on Earth till today, whether you like it or not. And those splits actually took place in Africa before the prototype genome. And the light of Denisovian, Neanderthal and co, they splitted earlier before this ghost DNA of the Yorubas were discovered. So they call them the ghost population. You can also read it. It's an article. It's all over the social media. It's all over the internet. You can go to the research. It's just a reference. I have more than 10 different references, but this is just the common one which people can actually relate with. And what they were saying is that the ghost DNA or the ghost ancestor, which the scientists are, they are the Orishas, Irumole, the angels of God that came to Yoruba land. Don't you get it? In the Genesis, the sons of God came down to her to marry the daughters of men, and they had children by them, which are the Yorubas. And after having the children by them, these children now became a renowned ancestor. Why are they ghosts? They are ghosts because none of these Orisha died. Ask any Yoruba man, Ogun did not die. They always vanish. Even though they are children, we today are the one the Westerners are testing their DNA, but you can never see the grave of Ogun. Likewise Yemeja, likewise Agunju, likewise Osonyi, likewise Orunmila, likewise, you can never see their grave. They don't die, they vanish. This is why they call them the ghost DNA. So these ancestors, they left something in the Yoruba's DNA, which are wisdom, intelligence. This is what the science are trying to say. It's a simple analysis. I'm not the one who conducted the research. These are broad research, and there are other facts too from the UNESCO's when they were testing the Ilero well. They tested the skull, the ancient skull. It's not as if I'm bragging. The Yorubas are superhumans. So I have reasons for this. So if I said origin, that humanity originated from Ile-Ife, this is where this concept is coming from. Where Obatala, the first Adam, created human, became Iletieti Dienian, Iletati Soin Dienian, the land we have transformed you to human. Oni of Ife, the Yoruba king of the entire world, whose father was also whose ancestor was also the ruler of the entire universe, also acknowledged it, that Adam lived at Ile-Ife. Noah Ark is at Ijebutu Ondo land. Everything like that. Because they have the knowledge beyond a random human being. You might not believe it, but once you keep digging deep, you will start seeing the fact. So these are where the whole idea of Adam, Cain, and everything come from. Any question you want me to answer, please leave it below. I just have to put the scientific references I just have to include it because people keep asking me that why am I not putting science? I need to put this one. I have other scientific proof too. I have the journal. I printed it. But people have to know that I'm not just sitting in my comfortable room start saying nonsense. I have archaeological backup for it. I have religious backing to this, and also common sense backing. So that is where the idea of Cain and Abel, the scientific, everything are coming from. You can check the Sri Ram Sankaraman. I don't know. I'm not an Indian, so you can check it. So let me quickly touch on this. One of my commenter lately in my last video, he was actually a Yoruba fan, but he meant well for me. He told me to do away from the topic of the Islam, whatever, that I should stop linking it to Islam. That people don't want to listen to that, all these things, stuff like that. I really appreciate him a lot for giving, because he's trying not to get me a problem, because you know how aggressive these people can be when it comes to knowledge. They don't want to think outside the box. As a matter of fact, majority of them, they gave birth. I'm a Muslim, so I was born in a Muslim family, but it only takes a Muslim that is well educated to think outside the Addict Sharia nonsense with the invaders brought to them, because the message of the Quran does not correlate the message of the Sharia. The message of the Quran relates with the indigenous Yoruba culture and tradition with the right interpretation, not the ones that because the historians who interpreted the initial Arabic letter word to English, it's easier for you to interpret nonsense. It is only when you start going to check the actual Arabic word you start realizing that most English version, there are tons of errors in it. But we Muslim, we've been conditioned not to ask questions. Whatever they read to you, just accept it like that. So and we never seem to realize that there are a lot of Quran authors, more than 30-something or 40-something Quran, which meanings differs. But we just believe that don't ask questions, whatever they tell you. It is only when you are going by the basic word of the Arabic, you will seem to understand what it is. So I really applaud my fellow brothers who is from the traditional group that advised me there. But I'm sorry to say it is actually impossible for me not to touch on all this thing, because you my fans need to understand something. I'm not trying to belittle the Yoruba culture or tradition, or trying to get validation from Abrahamic tales. What I'm actually doing is that you people need to realize that all Abrahamic tales actually came from the Yoruba tradition, not the other way around. So I'm not saying, you people have to understand it. The Yoruba people are the real original Arabs. Like Ijebu are the real original Arab. The minority Ijebu who dwell in North Sudan. If you even go beyond the side of East, beyond the Ethiopia, you will see them. Most of them are still there today. The Ijebu, the random, and the majority Ijebu are still in West Africa. We are also the real Israelite. Oya Shelola, they are the Ondo people. Minority of the Ondo to Ekiti people are so. Muhammad is also a Babalawo. I'm sorry to break it down. Muhammad, his name means black man, not the praised one, which the this is why even the word Ahmad, the Quran is self-explanatory. We have Amma, we have Amada, we have Amahin. Likewise, the word of the Amma, which God uses as the Arabic word that was used to describe the creation of Adam in Surah Al-Hijri. If you look at it, Adam was created from the black muddy clay. Amma, Hamad. Muhammad was mentioned 4 times in the entire Quran. About 3 of them, he was mentioned as Ahmad, because Ahmad or Muhammad is like Benga and Ade Bemiga. So when you put the Mu, it becomes Muhammad. But Ahmad is his original name. And Ahmad was taken from Enitiamu Latinu Oduifa. Olodumare. If you don't know that the Quran is actually Ofo, Muslim, I'm sorry, if you don't know, let me read the Fatiha Quran for you, and with the same meaning, the same intonation, the same understanding, the same, what you just need if you want to see the real Quran the way it was in the lifetime of Muhammad. Every letter A word in the Quran, change it to E. You will understand what I'm saying. This is why we have Allah Urabi, Ella Urabi. Allah was actually Allah. Let me read the Surah Al-Fatiha, which people often know. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Àwa ìṣọ́ bí ẹ̀là amọ̀nà sí ìṣe ẹ̀tàn onírọ̀ ajẹ́ ẹ̀mí. We seek refuge of Allah, the path shower against the deceitful or the deceiver that eat up one soul. Alhamdulilayi Rabbil Alamin. Ẹ̀là èmi á dúpẹ́ eléyìí láyé, màá rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ sí ọba alẹ̀mí. Ẹ̀là, I thank you and I shall praise my hand in plea. You, a king that owns all soul. Aramani Rahim, Aramani Rahim. Aramoni Arahim, Alara Moeni, Alara Eni. Thee who bless he wilt, bless thy that also praises him. Maliki Yaomidin, Amo Aleke, tí ó yé òun, tí ó mọ ìdí náà. That's tí ó fi ṣe. Thee who know, who will triumph, who acknowledge it and knows why. Iyakana abudu wa yakana sẹ́yìn, ẹyẹ òkè ní ibùdó, ìwọ ni ẹyẹ òkè tí à ń sátì. Thee is the majesty in his domain, the majesty we acknowledge is still refuge with. Ìdínà sírátà lè mustaqim, fi ìdí ọ̀nà ìṣọ̀rí tí a lè mú fi ṣe atọ́kùn ẹni. Show us the path of the guide that we can use to set up our right. Gẹ́rì lèmọ́dúbí àléhìm wàrà dọ́ọ̀lẹ́, gbé orí ilẹ̀ ayé, má gbé ayé wá lọ di ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ènìyàn, which we can use to live our life on earth so that we won't end up being and they condemn on our ungrateful being. That is the typical Yoruba word. I can practically change the entire Quran in a pure Yoruba word. This is why you need to understand that I'm not supporting the modern Islamic constitution. Religion of Islam is different from the message of the Quran. The Quran itself is ìkóra ẹnu kúrò nínú ìbàjẹ́, and the idea of Furqan was taken from olùfọ̀ ọkàn ẹ̀dá ènìyàn, the cleanser of heart. Ìkóra ẹnu kúrò nínú ìbàjẹ́ is the ones who guides your way of life. Shut your mouth off for what you are not meant to do. That is where Torah was derived from ìtọ́ ìwà ire, ìtọ́ ìwà sí rere. The Quran surah was taken from ìsúre, something you can recite to bless yourself with glory. The Quran chapter, which is commonly dubbed as ayah, was taken from ayajo. Ayajo is an incantation you can speak to make something spiritual to happen. And we have other names like Allahu Akbar, Ella Akoba, or Ella Kokoba, Ella the first, which is also the greatest. Ella Alhamdulillah, Ella Emiadu Eleyi Laye, Alhamdulillah, Emiadu Pe Eleyi Laye. We have some Ganiu, Oga Oni Ohun, Ọ̀gá oní ohun gbogbo, he who has everything. This is why Ganiu means the god of wealth or something like. So these are all Yoruba. Hadith, ọ̀rọ̀ tí a dẹ́tí gbọ́. Hadith means a gossip. This is why the gossip has authentic and non-authentic, because when you actually compile gossip, one will be more valuable, and some. This is why we Hadith have authentic. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí a dẹ́tí gbọ́ is a word of gossip. That same word of God is a word Muslim now uses to guide their life. Come on, they will be lost. This is why they are so aggressive. They don't want to listen to anything. And those who made it that are the invaders, who actually want them to ignore the Quran for the word of God. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí a dẹ́tí gbọ́, surah, ìsúre, as in so many Jannah, ìjọ ọ̀nà, ìjọ ojú ọ̀nà, ìjọ Jahannam, ìjọ ọ̀nà ojú ọ̀nà àánú, and tó ti sọnù, the misguided one. These are typical Yoruba words. So if I'm telling you Muhammad is from Ijebu land, I have receipt for it. But it takes a bit by bit, because these are just too much truth that is too much for people to swallow. So I don't fight because of Christian or Muslim. I fight because of your intelligence. If you are not intelligent, you won't see the truth. These people are from the same lineage. Is in Surah Imran, either from, so the lineage of Adam, which is the first Obatala, was what gave birth to the rest Orisha, from Obatala to Agunju to Kinikan to Odudua. They are all related people, and you can see it in Surah Imran, where God's, these people are one family. They are just of one tribe, and what they did are just continuation of one legacy to another. None of them came with another tradition. So if Moses was Babalawo, what do you think Muhammad will be? In the entire Bible, Moses is an herbalist. Amos is an herbalist. David had oracle. Ifa Eledumare, speak according to the word of the Almighty. Everyone had Ifa. Jeremiah, everybody has oracle, which started from Yoruba land. So what do you think Muhammad will be? Even Muhammad's name is a black man. So I can keep going and going. It's just too much. So for those who actually want the receipt, I will give you a breakdown. I'm not afraid to showcase my evidences. All I require from you is for you to listen, make your own findings, because what you don't know is practically bigger than you. Honestly, it's practically. Another Yoruba person I saw was actually he wasn't faulting my videos. He was actually saying, why is it me that we know this? I don't know why they reason like that. I don't know why their intelligence is like that. God gives anybody wisdom. The most useless human being may be the most privileged person in the sight of God. Why those who are you appraise Shehu might be those who have nothing in their head. God just distributes his wealth randomly to whoever he likes. So I'm not saying you should take my word for it. Please make more research. I'm just a stepping stone and waking you people up to see truth from where it matters. If you actually want me to treat any more topic, I will treat it. I think this is the longest video I've ever done. I'm also tired too. Help me share the video, subscribe, press the like button, share it. Ask me any question, please. Ask me any question. I will break it down for you. I will give you. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I know everything. The little I know, I will let you know. So for other Africans who are not Yoruba people that are coming to my session to accuse me of not knowing my Yoruba history, I keep asking them, you are not even a Yoruba person, but you want to be debating my own tribe history with me, to show that they are not there for knowledge. They are only here to make fault of what I'm saying. So I will see you in my next video. Please press the like button. Help me grow this channel. And these are what encourages me to do more videos. Thank you everybody for your time. Bye for now.